This week, our series, Eye-Opening Extremes, looks at those pushing the limits of what is humanly possible. Libby Sauter and Emily Sukiennik are at the forefront of a sport exploding in popularity. Highlining is a sort of X Games version of tightrope walking. It comes with a lot more balance in the lines and spectacular tricks. Libby and Emily, welcome.
Hi. Hi, thank you.
So what is in your mind when you do this?
Good question. Ideally, you don't want much going through your mind.
Yeah.
Ideally, you want to just be relaxed and focusing on the moment, but that's the challenge.
And why do you do it?
To challenge.
Why don't you do it?
I'd try it if it was about this foot.
Yes, yes, if it was
happen.
this high. Because Libby, here you are at the age of 12. Somebody gives you a harness, shoes, and membership to a youth climbing club. If somebody did that to me, I'd think they're mad at me. But you get this gift and you think, boy, this is something I've always wanted to do.
Yeah, it was fantastic. You know, like a lot of little kids, I grew up climbing trees, annoying my mother by climbing the door frames in the house, and it was the perfect avenue.
How large is that tightrope?
It's about 1 inch wide is what we walk when we walk up on Highlines.
And you're barefoot?
That's the usual way to do it, but
And
not
how
always.
high above the ground are you?
It depends. You can do it low to the ground if you want, and then we've done it hundreds or 1,000 feet high.
But I thought Charlie raised a good point about how and why you do it, but how do you learn to do it? That's what I'm thinking. Do you start really low and you keep going higher and higher? But I would think psychologically it's different when you're low to the ground.
It's
you know, if
very
you fall,
different.
you're not going to die,
Yeah.
as opposed to your high. So how do you master this?
I tried it in the gym to first try, and learned down low and kept going longer and longer and longer, and then eventually I was able to feel confident enough to bring it up high.
What is it about these extreme sports? Is there a thrill you get out of it?
Well, we don't like to think of it as an extreme sport. We're not adrenaline junkies out there trying to do the next.
Yes, you are,
most
Libby.
amazing.
Yes, you are. How could look at that video? How could you say you don't think of this as an extreme sport? Seriously.
I mean, because for us, it's not out there about trying to do something that's rad and extreme. We're just out there
Rad.
trying to have this. It's just an amazing, rewarding experience to do something that is very scary and.
So what do you
that
do
we
when you
overcome.
don't do this?
For me, I'm a rock climber. I spend a lot of time in Yosemite climbing there, and I'm also a pediatric cardiac nurse.
And in fact, you're about to take a new adventure as a nurse. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I'm about to go to Benghazi, Libya, and work with the International Children's Heart Foundation to help them establish the first pediatric cardiac center in Libya.
Leaving Stanford to do that, too, by the way. You go, Libby, you go. Emily, you know, you started a blog and you said that you were surprised by the positive comments you got, but really surprised by the negative comments.
Yeah.
What is the negativity, also known as haters? What does that come from and what are they saying to you?
Haters. Yeah.
You know the term.
I do.
Yeah.
I get a tremendous amount of positivity because it's such a new sport and it's so exciting, but at the same time, sometimes I get negativity from maybe the community, or it's just such a small sport. Sometimes people will judge my moves or my words, and I think that's just something that happens when you're in the
But that
public
threw you,
eye.
didn't it? It threw you.
It threw me, yeah. and it-
Because?
What safety precautions do you take? Do you always have a harness in case you fall? Is there always a net underneath you?
There's almost always a harness, and when there is a harness, safety is paramount. Everything is redundant in highlining. That there is, if you look at all the lines, you can see there's 2 rings. The leash that she's attached to is 2 pieces of material. The line is doubled. There's multiple points in every anchor.
But I imagine if you fall, it's quite a jerk.
It is, and there is a bit of dynamic aspect to the line, but it's scary.
I have to say, I'm really kind of intrigued by it.
I am too.
wanna-
Yeah,
I would like to learn to do this.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Would you? Both of you would like to learn how to do it?
The only thing I'm worried about is your feet fitting on that. But you guys say it's actually not that hard, that nylon rope.
And I would
not
think
bad.
the most important thing you have to do is work on your balance, just the idea of balance. You know,
It's
there are
just
lots of ways you
learning
can
body awareness.
train yourself to be balanced.
Yep.
You know what I would do? I would stand on the ground and cheer all 4 of you on. Go,
Let me
Emily,
just ask
go,
you, so
Nora, go,
Libby and
Charlie,
Emily, do you
go.
think we could fit a Highline in this studio?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
From that
From
post
there
to that post,
to
perfect.
there. Yeah, perfect.
Right
All
over the
right.
table.
And you say that to say what, Nora? Now what's going to happen?
Well, then we don't have to road trip. We could just do it
We
here.
could do it right here. Emily, I love you. Describe yourself as a curious human, Charlie, and a dog lover.
Oh yes, I have 2
Yeah,
dogs.
we like you already.
Yeah.
We like you
All
already.
of us Highliners are that way.
There you go.
Great to have you.
Thank you.
Libby Sauter and Emily Sukiennik, thank you.